as far as injuries go, Kelce hyperextended his knee today, so we'll just see how he does going forward. Good day of practice. Look forward to this challenge of playing the Lions. They got a good football team, and our guys have had a good week of prep, and we're looking forward, like I said, to the challenge of playing a good football team. So that time's yours.
Is there any idea as to Kelce's status?
No. They're looking at it now. So I just see how it goes.
Coach, I know it's always next man up, but when something like that happens to a big name guy like Travis, how does game plan work?
Sure. The next guy steps in and we roll. I mean, that's what you do. If that's the case,
That's what you do? Well, that's what's going to happen. 800-224-2004. So Travis Kelce news gets out yesterday that he hyperextends his knee in practice, and now his status for week 1 showdown against the Detroit Lions is in jeopardy. Multiple things to take away from this. Let's start off with the negatives because we have to. Travis Kelce is the number 1 receiver in Kansas City, and he has been for a hot minute. I have been on the record multiple times saying that throughout the entire tenure of the Andy Reid era, as much as we love Tyreek Hill, as much as Tyreek Hill was a difference maker, a vertical threat, and a superstar with the likes of the organization, he was number 2. The go-to guy was always Kelce. Go back and watch when Alex Smith was slinging balls across the middle of the field. It wasn't always Tyreek. It was usually the number 87. And part of that's just due to durability purposes. Since entering the NFL, he's missed 1 game. Now, he's missed other games, but every player has missed those games. Like in 2019, he missed a game because the division was already set and Andy Reid decided to go ahead and give players rest. So he didn't really care about them seeing action when they already knew their status, where they were in the AFC playoff seeding, didn't really factor in. So besides that, he's been Mr. Durability. He's also been Mr. Consistency. Anybody look at his stat line? Anybody see what he's done as a tight end? Well, if you haven't, let's just go ahead and break down. He is the most number 1 1,000-yard tight end in the NFL. He has had 1,000 yards every season since 2016. He also has finished with over 117 targets. He's also finished with at least 5 touchdowns every single year since 2016. So the guy is basically Superman for this offense. I still do not doubt Kansas City. Now, I will say, if Kansas City loses this game, it should come at no surprise to anybody because you are having younger receivers have to step up. You are hoping that guys like a Noah Gray, a Sky Moore, a Marcus Valdes-Scantling can make up the lost production of what you don't have with the Kelce on the field. But you do realize that at some point we are going to put Patrick Mahomes in the underrated category. Like, can we all agree on this one? There comes a point where Mahomes' status in the NFL is going to be questioned, not because of what he's done, who he is, how he delivers, and how professionally sound of a player he's always been, but because of we've seen this before. Like, this is the one team that I don't worry about when it comes to losing players because of who is calling the shots and who is leading the charge. Andy Reid is one of the more meticulously sound game planners in league history, and he has been for a hot minute. Even back in his days in Philadelphia, look at the way that he was able to dial up offenses that always kept the Eagles in top 10 status. Look at what he's done, making the transition from a quarterback like Alex Smith to a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. And look at what he does when he gets a time to develop and really situate himself. The X's, the O's, the do's, the don'ts, the whys, the non-whys, like everything. The guy knows how to call offensive plays. And then you have Patrick Mahomes, who last year loses his best weapon on the outside in Tyreek Hill because he wants more money and doesn't want to take a team-friendly contract. So he gets shipped off to Miami. And everyone starts to question, is this the move that hurts Kansas City? Nope. Not the slightest. Leads the NFL in passing yards, leads the NFL in passing touchdowns, highest passer rating, wins the MVP, wins the Super Bowl. So I don't worry about that. The other thing that I don't worry about is that this game has no implications on the AFC seeding. Now, it does have implications on the record, and maybe Kansas City won't go 15-2 this year. Maybe instead they'll go 14-3, or maybe they'll go 13-4. That still is probably good enough for you to be the number 1 seed in the AFC. And if not the number 1 seed, it's enough to probably keep you in the driver's seat as the number 2 seed. And I care more about your status going into the playoffs than I do for week 1 and week 2. Game against the Detroit Lions. Detroit's really good. Detroit is the media darling of the offseason. And that's why I am hesitantly optimistic now to believe that they are actually going to take place as the bronze specialist in the NFC. Like, they may end up being a really sound roster. They may end up winning the NFC North for the first time since 1993. They may do all of that. But now, because of they're getting overhyped and because of who they are and what they've been talked about throughout the offseason, I give a little bit of trepidation. Not saying that I don't believe that this team can't end up winning its division, but I'm not sure that we can put them in the same category as, say, a Dallas Cowboys team or maybe even a Seattle Seahawks team right now. Now, if they prove me wrong, great. I would love for them to prove me wrong. I love the Fighting Dan Campbells. I think that Detroit is going to be a really good overall organization because of who is calling the shots and who is running the show and what they bring back in terms of offensive production, not to mention what they brought in defensively, which was a huge, huge weak point for them last year. But I still remember who was throwing the football on the other sideline, Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes has been in more rigorous situations than this before. Like, yeah, he's not going to have a security blanket in Travis Kelce. For starters, that's a huge win, in my opinion, for everyone else to prove, hey, I can be that Tyreek Hill. I can be that go-to receiver. Sky Moore, all the reports coming out of training camp, the dude is looking like he is going to be a difference maker. And if you haven't had your fantasy football draft yet, I would probably go ahead and take him a little bit earlier than you expect, at least for the first few games, because if he may be the reason why Kansas City's offense doesn't miss a beat. Marcus Valdes-Scantling, he took over as that deep threat role last year. And did he end up with 1,000 receiving yards? No, but he still was able to produce. Noah Gray at tight end. There is a big belief inside the locker room by multiple people that I've spoken to that he could be a starter in the NFL. Cool. Let's see if he can. Let's see what he can do now that he has the opportunity. You still have a very sound offensive line led by Creed Humphrey up the middle, who is an all-pro caliber center. Not to mention you have Trey Smith and you have Joe Thuney. You just spent a bucket load of money to bring over Jawan Taylor from the Jacksonville Jaguars, and you have Donovan Smith at left tackle. So the offensive line is going to give as much time as possible for Mahomes to throw the football. And if Mahomes is as advertised, which was clearly evident at this point in his career, he's going to be able to go ahead and eat and produce and thrive and prosper and lead Kansas City to victory. And it goes back to what I said. He's played in bigger games than this before. 13 seconds left on the clock in the AFC divisional round. Josh Allen just scores his 4th touchdown to Gabriel Davis, and it feels like Orchard Park is about ready to erupt with euphoria that finally, they are the team to beat in the AFC. Nope. 13 seconds. That's too much time for Patrick Mahomes. He goes and delivers and sends the game to overtime before dabbing up Josh Allen and saying, let's do this again. Last year, Cincinnati. Remember that team? The one roster that has been able to go toe-to-toe with Kansas City since Joe Burrow returned to the great state of Ohio. That team, everybody was saying, okay, well, you know what? Maybe they can do it again. They've already won 3 matchups. No. The house that Burrow built was no longer a thing. Burrowhead was the thing of the past, and the Cincinnati mayor had to slow your roll and shut your mouth. Jabroni, according to Travis Kelce. You think that he's really worried about this game? You think that this is the one that throws him off pace? He's the best quarterback in the NFL. He's the closest thing that we have to Tom Brady right now in terms of GOAT status, and he hasn't missed a beat regardless of a situation since 2018. As a second-year player who got a handful of reps as a rookie, he won the MVP. He has faced pressure. He has faced accolades. He has had to deal with drama all throughout his tenure about being the guy, and he's always come up clutch. So why am I going to doubt Travis Kelce? Why am I going to doubt Patrick Mahomes in this game? Does it hurt not having Travis Kelce? Sure. Could it hurt when you face off against teams like, say, Jacksonville in week 2, the Jets in week 4, maybe even a Minnesota Vikings team because you like that in week 5? Yeah, sure, it could. But I also can't count out what I already see with my eyes. I know that Detroit this offseason made a ton of moves. And guess what? They are going to be better because of it. I know that Jacksonville is getting all the hype in the world because of, guess what? Who they have at quarterback in Trevor Lawrence. But until I see it, it's hard for me to believe it. I've seen Patrick Mahomes live up to the hype. I've seen Patrick Mahomes play under pressure. And I've seen Patrick Mahomes wheel and deal without a superstar wide receiver on the outside. You're going to be fine. Even if they don't win this game, they're going to be fine in Kansas City. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching that video. Don't hit the X button yet. Make sure you hit subscribe to keep up with all of our daily content found on Just Saying It and anything else that we post on this channel. Bye.